Welcome to Unpack Your Why. This is a safe space to celebrate your authentic self and discover your inner purpose. Each episode, we dive into honest conversations, life experiences, and a deeper purpose behind our journeys. I'm Sheila Diamond, and today we're excited to have Sierra joining us, aka Queen Musa. I met Sierra at a wellness event that she hosted, and I loved it when I first came down here to Atlanta. It was all about sisterhood and taking care of your body, taking care of your mental. So I wanted to dive a little bit more into why you started this journey and let you introduce yourself a little bit better.
Hey everyone, my name is Sierra Jeter, aka Queen Musa. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a native of Atlanta, Georgia. So also, um, I met Miss Shayla at my event in March, and we did a healing in the community event, and that was for women to come out and know who they are and reintroduce themselves to themselves in that moment. And that was that opportunity for them to get to know each other and know what is out here in the community for one another as sisters in our Black community in the South, and in the sense of a city of a Mecca where we as African Americans have a lot of power. Um, I'm also a herbalist. I'm a cannabis chef. I'm a doula. I'm also an intern with Guiding Light Midwifery. So I'm also going on my birth worker path right now and helping women in the community because of the maternal information that's going out, talking about our deaths and what's going on with our babies. So I decided to go ahead and merge a passion of mine with my herbalism. So here I am now.
Yeah. Thank you for all the work that you do. I think it's amazing what you're doing for the women in our community. Um, Even like that, the event I went to, like the energy I felt in the room was so overwhelming. It was beautiful how we all connected. Like I said, I just moved down to Atlanta and I already felt like I met sisterhood, you know? So I really enjoy the work that you're doing. And I love how you're using your talents to help others. So I wanted to get a little bit more into your herbalism and see what type of things that you do to help incorporate that into your wellness journey.
Mhm. So with my herbalism, I started back in 2019, right before the pandemic. I actually had lost my job. And in that transition, I already had my eye on this particular herbalist I was following on YouTube. And I was like, man, hurry up, please get a class started. And then all of a sudden I get fired, I get terminated due to I had a mental health crisis at work and they were not able to accommodate me. And in that transaction of that situation, they decided to let me go. However, I didn't allow that to discourage me. I was also heartbroken in that time period because I had put my life into a company. That's another life lesson I had to learn about. And God literally said, no, you've been talking about you want to go into health field and this is what you want to do. So the rug was pulled from underneath my feet. And I had to pivot. And I pivoted. And when I got terminated in April, he started his class in May.
Wow.
He started advertising for the class in May. The class started in June.
Perfect timing.
So in June, I had the money because I just got terminated. I'm getting unemployment. I have my coins already got saved up. So I'm like, shoot. And I got into that class. I met beautiful people. My instructor was awesome. I also went to another herbalist school during that time period. So I went to two herbalist school and it just took my passion for science because I also went to college for pre-med biology, but I decided to graduate instead. Y'all know how that is. Uh, I decided to switch my major to business administration with a concentration in marketing. So I got my degree in marketing instead, but my love and my passion has always been in the medical field. Chemistry was actually my love more so than biology, but I didn't have people in my family or around me that knew about that type of stuff. So I went towards the business, left the science behind, but see how God sometimes will pull you back to where you're supposed to be. So, herbalism, of course, if people don't know, is basically a holistic pathway to try to um, handle your health more safely in a manner that you use natural products, plant-based, anything from the ground. Most pharmaceuticals are from synthetic versions of what is in the ground that is grown to use for those medicines. And they use a lot of fillers, which are made out of plastics and other things too. However, it's other pathways that you can learn Eastern medicine from the Chinese medicines. You have your African modalities in holistic medicines. You have your Caribbean indigenous treatments and stuff. And I went towards that way. Okay. And those ways taught me, like, hold up, we need to reconnect. I'm not connected to my body. I'm not connected to myself. I'm not even connected to God because He is a part of all this creation, and I'm not even using what He given me everything. And even in the Bible, He says He's provided those things for us, and we're abusing it or corrupting it and misusing it. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it my way. And Yahweh showed me the way to go the way I needed to go. And so that's how I went down my path of herbalism.
I love that story. You pointed out a few different things I want to unpack a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, the first of all, corporate America, going from business to healthcare. I feel like that's something I'm transitioning now with myself. I have a background in HR, which I do still love, and I feel like the reason I love HR so much is because of certain like situations like how you experienced, where the employee needs assistance and help and support, and the company is just so quick to dismiss them. And I feel like my purpose in any workplace I am is to show an employee that they're appreciated and that they're supposed to be here and that we can take care of them. I have similar experiences where I put my all into a company and then they show me like I'm just as replaceable as the next one. So I lost myself in a lot of jobs because I just became that. Let's say I was like a manager or whatever. I'm just that manager and I don't have an outside life, you know? And then just for them to treat me some type of way, like they, whatever they do. I had one company hold my pay because she was mad that I put in my 2 weeks and I wanted to leave. So it was like after I built your company up, I decided to find another opportunity for myself because it wasn't in alignment with me. You're gonna hold my money. And so it's like I don't like feeling like that. I don't feel like being controlled. So I always try to make my employees feel like they're appreciated and feel like we're a team no matter what. So yeah, I really love that you touched on that point, and I wanted to see if that was the moment that you feel like really changed the way that you saw yourself.
Well, that actually was so I had a mental breakdown and I was taken out of work for like three months. My doctor took me out because I was on the verge of was having suicidal ideation. I was not looking at things to be like, oh my God, this is what I need to do for myself and I need to do this. Nah, it was just like, oh my God, I love this company and you just took my livelihood away. Like what? And then I'm here. I was a third shift
Yes.
team lead at that, so I worked at night. Okay, and then sometimes me and my coworkers will work by ourselves, handling a workload that's supposed to be like 5 people. So if I'm doing that and I'm telling you and I'm expressing and I'm coming to you to my managers and you're not listening to me, yeah, you're gonna collapse and fold on yourself and burn out. And then sometimes your burnout might be explosive. Some people burn out internally. Some people burn out, and some people think this too. Burnout. Oh, if I burn out or that happens, you should recover in like a few days, a few weeks. Sometimes burnout lasts weeks, months, or years,
Right.
depending on how much you put on your nervous system or you allow to get into your nervous system. And so, with that being said, oh, I was heartbroken. I hadn't even grieved. That's a grieving process I had to learn too. When a company or any type of loss in your life, you need to grieve that. You need to give yourself time. Yes, I pivoted and went to herbalism. However, when I pivoted and went to herbalism, I wasn't processing because I jumped into a relationship at that time too.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to love this person, but I'm not paying me no attention because I'm not processing. And this person had a child too. So then now it's not just me, it's the person, the child, and I'm not focusing on, hey, You need to get back on structure. Hey, you need to make sure you're not falling off for yourself because you really just got the rug pulled up from on you. And then what happened out loud, and this is me taking accountability, and this is for anybody, man, woman, I allowed someone to come into my life. I loved them. I cared about them. I appreciated what they were there for, but I allowed them to become my crutch.
Ah, yes. We're gonna build on that. hmm
Okay.
I I'm going through a very similar experience right now. I naturally do that. I naturally have the person become my crutch, and like I build my life around them. I feel like similar my life, like the rug was snatched from under me when
Mhm.
I moved to Georgia. I'm not sure if I told you, but I moved to Georgia because I was in a really bad car accident. And so at that time I was working two jobs. I had my own apartment. My lease was about to be up, so my rent was going to increase. And I just felt like I was my I was up to here. Like I couldn't I went through a breakup and I found out like it was infidelity. So it was like it was a lot going on. All right. And I also struggle with seasonal depression. So this is around December. I got into a car accident on Christmas Eve. So yeah. Um so it was a lot. It was a lot going on. And I decided my mom was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come down here. Like we spent time together. You could reset. You could you know, just decompress because it was a
Yeah.
lot." And I'm very grateful, but I do feel like I ruined my life or like the life that I knew is over, and I have to rebuild that here. I met a few people, I'm processing a lot, as I just said, so I'm not trying to jump into anything new right now. But I did meet a few people and I had to consciously fight myself. Like when I was looking for jobs, I was like, oh, let's see how far it is from their place. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I need to build my own life. I need to have my own structure and routine so I'm not dependent on them. Because in my previous relationship, that's what it was. I would be waiting, like after I get off of work and stuff like that, I'll be waiting for his text to be like, okay, what we're gonna do today. And I would fall off from my own business and own creating. So I didn't make my candles, I didn't do my readings because I'm trying to fit into a box that he had for me. And I lost myself. So now I'm finding myself again. And another thing with the HR, I'm still looking for jobs for HR, but I randomly found this job with childcare. And I started that last week and it feels so right. Like people have told me growing up and like in the past that I would be a really good teacher. I'm really good with kids, and I know I naturally love kids, but it's just I feel so fulfilled in this work, and it's like I'm not a morning person at all. I go in there at 9 o'clock and I'm like, "Hi, good morning," and they all run up and hug me, and I just feel so it's healing, and I need it right now because I feel like, especially with everything that happened in my past, I didn't feel loved or valued, and I feel like these kids are showing me like you're valued just how you are.
Can I give you a little tip?
hmm
Because I'm gonna express my little age right now. Okay. I'll be 40 this year.
You look
And
good.
thank you, girl.
Yeah.
I'll be 40 this year. And around, I think I know kind of your age from talking, with your mom and stuff in conversation and talking to you a little bit. In the Bible, it states a prophet is not known in his own home. He's not even welcome in his own home. And the reason being is because of familiar spirits, familiar places, familiar people. They know how you move, they know how you talk, they know your game, they know how you walk, they know how you everything. They know, okay, she know how to do this, she do this. Oh, she gonna be on this block on this day. She be talking like that. I'm from Atlanta. I'm being called to leave. And this is where everybody like come, but I'm being called to leave. I have a lot of connections here I can use and I sometimes do use, but it don't feel right. And it's okay for that move because even Jesus didn't minister where he was from. So in your own walk, don't feel as though, oh, I feel like, yeah, you're supposed to get homesick. That's your home. But where God is trying to place you got to be okay with that. Like, okay, am I trying to hold on? to it? Or am I relinquishing and letting go? Open your hand, surrender. Can you surrender yourself to yourself so you can surrender to the Most High? What those kids are showing you also is ministering to your younger self that have not been taught that or loved. However, you still need to talk back to her because we're older, because I'm almost 40, right? And you're 20 something. Guess what? Your 5-year-old self still in you. Sometimes if you don't get, I had to learn this in my therapy. I did trauma therapy. And in trauma therapy, they teach you like, yeah, because you are older don't mean that child is gone. The child is still there. Each decade of your life, that part of you is still there. So if you had traumas in those different levels and you're getting that fulfillment from them little kids, okay, that's God showing, he put the light on. Okay, now work on that part of you. Sometimes you can't expect your parents, your environment, your grandmamas, your aunties, your uncles, your cousins. Sometimes people can't take accountability for what they lacked to do or did not do or did do to you as a child. However, you can reparent yourself. That's why I am learning this at an older age, but I don't have kids. So this is me really rebirthing myself. And I tell somebody, if you go through your rebirth at 20 something or 30, you got a head start. And the person I was with in that last relationship, he became my crutch because I was like, I became so focused on his child, his daughter. I was like, oh, I gotta take care of her. I gotta make sure she go to school. I gotta make sure this. And then I started lacking or slacking into my craft. You know what I'm saying? My edibles, my plates, my medicines, my infusions, my class, all my ideas I was writing down. Prior to me becoming an herbalist, I had a cake business. Okay. And that cake business was doing quite well. I got structure and I started that business when I was with that company. So I was working 12-hour shifts, get off and work 6-hour shifts with my own company by myself, making cakes, fulfilling orders every day. But when I got in that relationship, I pivoted. And I wasn't pivoting on myself, I was pivoting on others. Then I already was diagnosed with PTSD in 2018. Due to that meltdown, I found out I had PTSD. I was walking around with PTSD my life, I found out. And then in my entire life. And then I was diagnosed with deep depression, manic depression, panic attack disorders, and anxiety.
They checked all the above for you when they were making you.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, what in the world?
Mhm.
Okay. Like, oh my God, y'all diagnosed me with all this stuff. But not knowing, my friends used to be like, you a cannonball, girl. Shoot, everybody knew not to piss me off or talk to me a certain way because I did not know how to control my mouth or my anger or my emotions. And anger and all that kind of stuff comes from resentment, hiding, being closed mouth, not be able to talk, not speaking up for yourself, not speaking up when you need to speak up. So you hold it and suppress it and suppress it and suppress it and suppress it. And in that time period, I didn't understand that. I was thinking, I lost my job. Well, he likes me. We like each other. Okay, we're gonna try to do this. So I had him move in my house.
Mhm.
I purchased my home when I was 21 years old. I never had nobody live with me other than my brother. I was mismanaging what God had gave me because prior to that, guess what I was doing too? At work, working at night. Listen to Boyce Watkins, a financial advisor, when he was getting started with his podcast and he was breaking down how to leave corporate America. And I'm praying at work for time. The most valuable thing humans have is time. And I'm asking him for the time I need to get my business in structure. And he gave me the time because I lost the job because I had written down in my book, Shayla, that I wanted to quit September that year.
Wow.
Okay, this is March.
Mhm.
Read out, right?
Mhm.
April 12th, 11:15 p.m. I walked into the company that night, and my manager was like, "See, I need to talk to you in the 101 room." He was like, "Yeah, we gotta let you go." I said, "What you mean?" I blew up. I let him have to smoke a little bit. But I was like, bro, like, how you just think? He's, I was trying to call you so you didn't have to come, come in. I said, but you don't do that, bro. And then you threw this at me. Like, I had to call my therapist that night
Yeah,
because that was an emotional, you literally just ripped. And they don't think of that because they think of people as a number
exactly.
and not a human being.
Exactly.
And I think that's also what's going on with our country.
Yeah.
Everything is money and blood
Yes.
that builds this country, and a lot of companies are built on money and blood.
Yes.
So, on a spiritual sense, if you understand that, then it helps you swallow those pills a little bit better,
Definitely.
if that makes any sense. Did
100%.
I answer that quite well for you? I just want to make sure.
Yes. I love your answer so far. Um, but yeah, our country, I feel like it's like big pharma. That's why I feel like it's so important to know herbs and like how to heal yourself first because I don't like man-made like pills and stuff like that. Even with I was diagnosed with CPTSD. So I think that's what
Yes,
similar to
I
what you're
have PTSD as well,
yeah.
complex PTSD.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not even acknowledged in America. My
Yeah.
therapist was saying. So like we get misdiagnosed a lot with bipolar or borderline personality disorder. Um and I struggle with that anger as well. And I used to, at certain jobs, I remember one time my CEO at a previous company was very difficult, and
Hmm.
multiple people have left that company within like 6 months. Multiple people have had to start therapy after working under her leadership, and it was like it was poking and poking and poking, and she was telling me something. It was like something like she was trying to mold me, like she was trying to make me
Hmm.
something I didn't want to be. So. I feel like a lot of the pressure built up in a lot of my workplaces, and I ended up any type of negative feedback I would receive, I would internalize it and then I would blow up. So I was especially because I was overworker, so I would give my all 110% and I felt like they didn't appreciate it. So I had jobs where I they had to sit me down for a one-on-one and I walked out, I stormed out and I was like, I don't need this. And I realizing like I'm burning these bridges because then at the next job I can't call for a reference. You know what I mean? So I've learned, I think I slowed down. I got tested recently at my one of the old jobs as well, where my manager was spreading rumors and trying to talk because she was intimidated and stuff, and she fabricated some stories about me. And it was to the point where my employees had to come up to me and tell me, "Hey, our manager is trying to set you up. Like she's trying to get you fired." But anyway, I feel like that was very shady. But I feel like they told me the replacement is not as good as I was, and so like they regret not treating me good when I was there. And I was like, I hear that all the time. No, you pick your side, go lay in it. I'm gonna be good regardless because I know I'm a pure person, right? So like, and that's my thing with any job I go into, any relationship, I'm not doing it like to get money fast or get like whatever. I'm doing it because I actually want to. I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Right.
And I feel like people don't really value that. And that's when I realized I can't be putting my all into these companies that don't care about us when I could be filling my own cup and helping others like in real time. Like with my candles and stuff, it's spiritual healing, it's self-care, it's being able to relax and decompress after a long day. And I feel like I needed that the most during that time, so I created what I needed so I can share it with the world. Even with like the kids, like I said, it's something that's healing. Um, and I also feel like I'm struggling right now with having nothing. So I feel I used to be, the breadwinner in relationships. I used to have my own apartment, own car, and I lost all of that coming down here. And even with the connection I made down here, I felt like I wasn't worthy enough because I didn't have those things. He doesn't treat me like that. Like he thinks I'm, but I just internally didn't feel comfortable dating if I didn't have a car, a job, stuff like that. And these kids, I show up and they show me that I'm valuable just as I am. And I feel like that's really important for me to learn right now because I still don't got everything I had before, but I feel like my purpose, I'm doing something important with my purpose.
Oh yes, for sure. The kids are the innocence of before the world touches them. And that's how God sees you all the time.
Exactly.
So kids don't see that. They see your love, they see your energy, they see who you are. Well, the world, you got to put a mask on.
Hmm.
So you have to have barriers and walls and constructs. Whereas a child, no. So that's teaching you about, like I said, your rebirthing of yourself or learning how to parent yourself better in this season that you're going into. So when you going through those valleys of darkness, if your eyes are low, you can't see them. Your eyes are up, you're not focused on the problem. You're not focused on the lower vibration. You focus here, and then it'll take you there. Even though you might not have, God's been showing me this in the last 10 years. You have everything that you needed to succeed.
Yep. It's all within.
Every job has prepared you to your next level. Okay, my daddy always taught me that. My father taught me that. Okay, but I didn't understand it. But guess what you need as an entrepreneur? You need every skill set. God's position you and others like me and you to become the next stewards of entrepreneurialism. Maybe you are becoming a HR consultant. You don't have to work for nobody else, but you can say, "Hey, y'all doing y'all HR a little off. Let me come in here and help y'all out a little bit." Most companies, for some reason, it's not for some reason, because they're blinded by the dollar,
Yep. And they don't
they
care.
don't see no more. That is where the love of money is the root of all evil, not money.
Yes.
That's where people get messed up. God knows you need money as currency on the earth to run in this system, but the love of the money will corrupt the purpose or the intention of that money, which can also lead to destruction. And sometimes you scratch your head because you know you're a child of the Most High, you're a child of light, period. You see the darkness. That's your job. You're supposed to see and call it out. But because you're in their structure, you really, when you call it out, it calls you out.
Yep.
It sickens you out. You not know you now you no longer part of the fold. You out the fold. So now you're the black sheep.
Hmm.
You got called out of their flock, but God pulled you to his flock.
It's highlighting that you're out of alignment and that you're not supposed to be there.
And you become too complacent. I became that too in that relationship because I was like, well, I'm sick. I can't do nothing. I need him. And God was talking to me when I was in the hospital saying, you don't need nobody but me.
Yep.
I gave you everything you need. You have everything you need. And guess what occurred, Shayla? When I was packing up my house last year, it took me 8 months to pack up 17 years of my life. I saw things in their house. I was like, where did that come from? Oh my God. Oh, and it's sometimes I was like, oh, I don't have to buy this. I don't have to do this. So when I get to my next house, I'm technically set up. You get what I'm saying? I don't have to ask for nothing because he's prepared me already. In my adulthood, I learned, hey, you might need that person later on. You not they piss you off, so distance yourself.
Yes.
Or hey, cool, all right, God bless you. Go on about your business. When I see you again, I might not like what you did, But I know if my God in heaven can make a jackass talk, he can make you do what he need to do for me. That's how I look at people now. So I just be like, oh, Pookie.
I like that outlook. My issue, I feel like I'm very soft-spoken and I'm very compassionate at some points. And I feel like people take advantage of that. And that I want them to see, oh, you don't want to mess with me. So I want them to see that explosive anger. I want them to see everything. And I'm realizing, like, I'm still working through it, But I'm realizing, like, it's hurting me more because I have to readjust and reset my nervous system. And it takes me, like, when I get angry, it's going to take me at least 5 days to calm down. And I can't because now I'm messing up job opportunities. I'm messing up my money. Now I got to call out because I don't want to spaz out on anybody else. So I have to not allow myself to get that angry at that point. What can I
Yes,
do to stop myself before I get to that level? So that's what I'm
yes.
learning now.
Oh, and guess what? Be patient with yourself because that takes time. I found out I'm a reactor. Everybody is different things in life. Some people are reactors. Some people are passive aggressive. Some people, a reactor is somebody just pop off at the what you say. You got the smoke. What we finna do? That's me. I'm Captain Saver. HEO. That's me. I go help anybody. Da, 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 da. Sierra put on her cape. She's going to save you, save the day, but not saving herself. Okay?
Literally.
All right? And when that happens, or happens, when I get that Captain Saver cap on, you're not paying attention to you at all. And so I was a reactor. That's what I found out. So I had this analogy we use. I have managers, are the people that's corporate. They're doing it in my head. You have your managers. Then you have your firefighters. That's your security. And when stuff pop off, they ready to go. So they out in the front. Okay. The managers are in the building.
Mhm.
But when somebody comes, bloop, before we hit that button, managers are there to analyze. Are they a threat? Do I feel safe? Am I aware or accountable for my actions if something pops off? And that makes me stop myself because the first thing I want to do is I want to pop out and show them. But at the same time, it's like, nope, take a step back, analyze. That's what I said, managers. Hmm, are you worth me going to jail? Are you worth me losing my job? Are you going to slow down my money?
Mhm.
Hold on, hold on. Are you a threat to my family? Slow down. Okay, you went through your list, right? You went through, are they a threat? Are this, how you feel? Now, when your firefighters come out, that's when that's life and death, almost like a full threat. Or, hey, I have to stand up for myself in this moment. I have to, not for nobody else, because sometimes people need to fight for themselves so they know they got the tools to fight. If we always pulling up trying to fight for everybody else, how they gonna learn?
Yep.
That's another thing I used to do. I used to cut people off all the time, like because I'd be like, "No, I need to get my point across. No, I need to get my point across. You ain't gonna listen to me. You ain't gonna listen to me. So let me go ahead. I'm smarter than you anyway. I'm gonna let you know anyway." My therapist be like, "Okay, Sierra, I understand." She even let me. She said, "You got it out. You
Yeah.
feel better." When she do that, I'll be like, "Damn."
Yep.
She made me feel that small right back in. I come in there like, fuck these motherfuckers, man. Excuse my French, y'all,
No.
but I'll be like, fuck these motherfuckers, man. No, no, no. I'm from the west side of Atlanta, so I and she be like, and what that's gonna do in here? What's that gonna do in here, Sierra? And then also I'm like, I just wanted somebody to
Yep.
listen to
Because all
me.
that anger, it comes from either sadness, shame. It comes from a deeper feeling.
Shame, guilt, sadness,
Mm-hmm.
inadequacy,
Mm-hmm.
unworthiness.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so grief. It comes from grief.
Yes.
So if you have not processed those things, you can't adequate that to nothing. It can't help you nowhere else in life. So guess what? You stay stagnant, and people think you're procrastinating, but you're not. You're in a head loop.
Mhm.
And if somebody don't understand that, you're not procrastinating. You're actually in a place where you need to. You're not procrastinating. Your body and your mind is disconnected. Your
Yes.
brain wants to move, like, hey, we got shit to do, but your body like, okay. And that's the PTSD part too.
Yep.
People don't know that. And it's like, hey, and the complex PTSD, that's from years upon years upon years. It's like my therapist would put it a Valdelia onion
All those layers.
because it's big and it's multi-layered.
Hmm.
All onions are multi-layered, but the Valdelia is big. So your problems are big and they're layered upon layer. And each layer is every year.
Hmm.
So when you peel back one, you like, oh, okay, we conquered that in therapy, right? Or in life. I conquered who that was. I conquered that part of me. Guess what? You got another layer to finish.
That
So that type of PTSD is almost like you got a lifetime to work through. And you just got to be okay to regulate yourself, know how to regulate yourself so those things don't bother you.
one of the things I struggled with a lot was that layer. So like let's say I healed something and I would think, okay, I got through it. But no, it just peeled back that layer and it got me it opened my eyes to something that was hurting deeper. And I just felt like it was a continuous cycle and I would never be able to really heal or see my growth. And that was something that I need to change my mindset on. I feel like people with CPTSD having that change of mindset where it's not just like, okay, I healed this, check off the box. It's I'm continuously, this is something that's in my life. I'm continuously working and I'm actually choosing each day to be a better
Yes.
version of myself and not go
Yes.
back to that old cycle.
People that get me all the time when they be like, girl, did you see what's in there? You saw this celebrity did this and this celebrity. I said, do they pay my bills?
Exactly. Hmm.
If they don't pay my bills, why am I giving you my time or energy? Social media is a matrix within a matrix. You're trying to get out the regular matrix, but you're diving into another matrix, not knowing who you are in this matrix.
I feel like what we were building on before, a lot of society today is built off of fear and like making us, you know, keep us low vibrational. So fear, anxiety, anger, comparison, jealousy, all those things keep us low vibrational. So the fact that you said like the social media is a matrix inside a matrix, social media is fake. Like everything that's posted there is like it's no one's real life, you know? And if it is, it's like exaggerated or, sugar coated. So it's not like I'm putting all my business out there. And then people use that and compare their real life to someone's exaggerated life. And I feel like you said something earlier when you said that if I'm unpacking this, um, like this trauma and I'm learning, how to heal through this life at 20, I'm gonna be set up for success in the future. And I spent so much of my time feeling like I was so behind, and I literally had to stop and look at where I was. I was always the youngest person in the room. I was always like the most educated younger black girl, you know what I mean? So like in a room full of white men, I was the black girl that is in her 20s making calling shots, you know what I mean? So I had to really sit with myself and say, I am enough. I am doing what I need to be doing. I'm here for a reason. Um, and I feel like that's so important just to stop and pause and just realize like how far you came. You mentioned being Captain Save-A-Ho. I have a very similar experience with that. So, have you ever had to choose yourself even when it disappointed others?
Oh, yes.
Hmm.
I had to do that several times. I had to do it when I was 30, when I decided to get a divorce um, from my ex husband. We're cool. Everything's kosher, nothing. We weren't supposed to get married because we both were young. We just he wanted, his intentions were different from my intentions. So we wasn't evenly yoked at it, as they would say. Um, so I didn't want a divorce, but I did want a divorce. I took a lot of advice from others, a lot of advice. And when I did, I said, you know what, I'm gonna get a divorce. Yes, yes, yes. Everything seemed fine. Now my ex-husband, what it was, we wasn't developed as humans. He had traumas that I didn't even know that he had. And I needed to deal with my traumas that I was running from and refusing to deal with because some things I didn't know I was dealing with too. Now he's the man that I envisioned him to be.
Yeah.
It took him 10 years. But guess what? He's remarried, he has a child, and I'm happy for him. But in that moment, I had to leave. I was like, he ain't gonna leave. He ain't gonna deal with this and da da da. I'm over here doing this and da da da. And he ain't working on himself, and I'm da, 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 and he ain't doing what I want to do. Da, da. But at the same time, it was both.
Yeah.
But I had to make that decision. I had to put my big girl panties on, as a police officer told me during a situation with me and him. She literally looked at me. She said, "Look what you have, young lady." She pulled me to the side. She said, "Look what you have." And she said, "Look at him." And he was over there just. He said, "That's a boy. I need you to pick your. I need you to put on. This is the first time I ever heard this. I need you to put on your big girl panties and make the decision you need to make." And I
Wow.
was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "You need to make a decision that you made a mistake. Take accountability for your actions. This is what literally the cop is telling me, and make a better choice." He wasn't the choice for you. I can tell how he's positioned now. Look at this scenario. This is not love. This is control.
Yeah.
You try to control somebody, Sierra,
Mhm.
because you want love. You trying to control the love. You can't control. Love is fluid,
Yeah.
like water, like sand. It's supposed to go between your hands and move. Love is nurturing, caring, but love also is discipline, obedience. I don't see that, young lady. That's what I heard from God that night. And God actually told me I had to get a divorce. Because he said that wasn't your husband. I told you not to marry that man.
Mhm.
So
God will, he'll be loud and clear when you need him to.
I
Yes.
was on the altar, girl. He said, "This is not your husband." I was like, "Yes, it is, Jesus. Yes, it is. Hallelujah."
And you get snatched right up out of there.
Pulled me out 3 years.
Mhm.
And guess what happened after those 3 years? I went through a 3 year transition of learning myself. And then that's when I met that last relationship I was in where I lost myself. But guess what? I lost myself because I had to die to my ego.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened to me as well. I was in a long-term relationship right after college. And we went through a lot together. Like it was like I was homeless and we were sleeping in a car together. He let me stay with him and his family. And it was the same thing. We weren't equally yoked. And it was constant, like I felt like I was proving myself, like proving my growth. I was a big hothead, like I said. So I did some things that I regret and I learned from and grew from. And he saw like the worst parts of me sometimes. And it was a lot of my like CPTSD and trauma I had from my past. And he was like my boyfriend, he was my therapist, he was everything, right? And it was getting overwhelming. And we were on and off for a long time, and we ended up breaking it off. And I felt like I was always trying to like prove my growth to him, saying, "Oh, I'm better now. I'm not like how I was before. I'm not gonna do X, Y, and Z." And it was never good enough for him. And I had to realize it was like an equally thing. It's not like, oh, I'm just not good enough for him. He's not feeding me how I need to be fed as well. He would do like the ghosting. He would shut down. He wouldn't communicate. And those are things I needed to be reassured, to like be told it's gonna be okay. So
Yes.
we weren't equally yoked, like you said. And now, if I feel like if we met each other like at 25 versus 18, 19, we would be able to make it work out and we'll be able to grow. But we're not at that season right now. Like we're not, you
Yeah.
know.
18, 19.
So I did I did a whole year or so just being celibate, not dating anybody, feeding to myself, and that's why I got into like spirituality and the tarot cards, crystals and stuff like that. And I learned a lot about myself and I really enjoyed it. Um Then I got into a connection recently and it was great. It was like he was what I've been praying for, manifesting, writing in my journal, and it turned out that everything was fake and everything was a lie and he was just putting on that mask. And he was just doing that to mimic or mirror me so I can let my guard down. He would beg me to I didn't trust anybody. So he would beg me to trust and tell him my trauma and stuff like that just so he can use that against me. Um, and I'm really big on like mental health and self-care. So when we did break up, he was saying that he was struggling with his mental health. And so I showed a lot of compassion. I showed, I was like, do what's best for you, da 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 da. And I found out I asked for closure from God. I prayed about it because something was off. I felt like he wasn't telling me the truth. My intuition was I was having dreams. It was crazy. But I just asked God for a sign that because when I told him I was moving after the accident, and that's too, like we broke up the beginning of December. I healed. Like I was healing, okay? I was getting used to like him not being around. I got into my accident. He picked me up. He like cuddled me to sleep, all that stuff. So it reopened everything. But I asked for a sign because I felt like something was off. And the day before I came down to Atlanta, I found out that he was messing with another girl the whole time. Before we even broke up, he was sleeping with her. And it was just shadowing. So I had to heal from that and my accident and moving to a whole new state. So it was a lot. But I think that in the end, God was just telling me like you have to focus on you because I said I was losing myself with that relationship. He was a Haitian Christian, so he's very religious. His family's very religious and very strict, and I'm a very spiritual, open-minded girl.
You say he a what?
Haitian Christian, and he was a drummer at the church. So you already know. You already know.
You. Ho ho ho.
hmm Let me tell you, he said he was going through mental health issues. He had to find God, get closer to God when we broke up. That was the beginning of the week, Monday. By that Friday, he was in a strip club. I was like, oh, I used to work overnight, so he still had his location. So I was checking in one time. I saw that he was a strip club. I was like, oh, he must be at Bible study. Let me grab my Bible and pull up.
That in itself, I'm glad you had that realization. Okay. But with people, I'm because at your age, I got married at 26.
Uh,
So that's why I'm like, I'm going backwards right now. So I'm talking to like myself at the same time. When God is telling you to find yourself, He's telling you to find Him.
yep.
So because within yourself is Him, His essence is in you. Demons know the Bible. The devil know the devil was an archangel.
That's what I was gonna
He
say.
knows the
Yes,
word of God better than you
exactly.
because he is God's creation.
Yep.
Still, ask God to open your ears, your spiritual ears. Because what that sounds like with spiritual ears, that would sound like, what's up, my sister? You know what I'm saying? I love God, you know. All of you here. When you open your ears, really, and you hear your discernment is turned on. You hear, yeah, girl, I'm not healed. You know what I'm saying? I really want some ass right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to really ask you for some pussy, but I just want some pussy.
Yep.
That's your discernment to hear behind what they're saying is the math. Because they'll use religion, money, all that.
I feel like it's so important to know that God is within you and that He's everywhere, and to be secure and to, like you said, to go back to Him when you're getting fed information from other sources. And I feel like that's where I messed up because, like I said, the spirituality came naturally when I was by myself. That's what it was called to. I was called to do. I was called to get crystals. I literally never got crystals before. I went to a shop and I was like, I'm gonna pick up all these. So like I let them call me and pick me out. Um, and once I got into that relationship with the Christian man, like I said, I grew up Christian. I grew up half Muslim, half Christian. So like my dad's side of family
You know what
that
I'm talking about? What I just
Mhm.
said. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And that's why I say they all say the same thing. Is just that divide and conquer type of thing. But anywho,
Okay.
um, I feel like I sacrificed everything that I've learned in that solitude because I got my Christian man and he like, he was in the church, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, he's gonna help me get closer to God. But I was already close to God doing my own thing. And I abandoned everything that God taught me to how to get close to him and my ancestors just to fit into his box, like I said, because I didn't think that his family would accept me doing my tarot cards or me doing my crystals and stuff like that. Um, and I was losing myself and I was getting out of alignment. And I feel like everything happened in that time period to smack me right back into alignment and to get me back grounded.
So I had to learn how to have more confidence in myself, confidence in what I say I want, confidence in my business and what my business can do.
Yeah.
Even though I know Seizure Day can be great here in Atlanta, which it is already like to me it is, but people don't really know it like that because I've been like, no lie, Shayla, I've been going through because of the trials. Like I get sick, I have to go back, come back out. Hey, Seizure Day, go back, come back out. I've been doing it because of life, right? But in those times when I get back out, guess what? I revamp, restructure my foundation of the business, restructure my brand, created a new logo, created a new, I'm a new being. So I don't represent the old Seizure Day. The old Seizure Day still on same pretense, but this one is way Queen Musa is a whole nother level. Be fluid in the sense of how much energy you give out. Be fluid in the sense of how much energy you allow to come in.
Yep.
So that's very important. And with the sense of knowing who you are, that's your main why. That go for any. Some people like, my mama, your mama be dead and gone tomorrow. What? Then what's your why?
Hmm.
Your kids can be dead and gone. Your husband can be dead and gone. What's your why?
Yeah, I think that's so important because for me, I don't have any kids or anything yet, but I have a lot of little.
Pressure.
Yeah, I'm seeing, but I have a lot of little cousins and children in my life that mean a lot to me. I have two godsons who I would die for, and when I was in Jersey, that was my why. Like I was like I had struggled with suicidal ideation and stuff like that in the past as well, and when I attempted in high school, um, my purpose then was for my little cousins, right? So I have to show them because my family is very dysfunctional. So I can show them that it could be a different way. Like you don't have to be like this. You can go to therapy, you could heal. When I started therapy, everybody looked at me like I had 10 heads. And now people in my family, the same people who judge me for therapy, are asking me, "Hey, can you send me that therapy that you're working with?" After 5 years. So it's like it's gonna take time and dedication, but I wanted to be the one that got away and that built a different life and show that motivation to my younger cousins. And I let it take over me, right? Because then at the end of the day, these are not my kids.
Shayla, with my ex, I'm still connected with his daughter. I love that baby girl. That's my baby. Okay. She made me grow up as a woman. Okay. But guess what? She got a mom.
Hmm.
She got a mom. I can't take that from her.
Yep.
Okay. But you can give love. When them kids get older, they want to learn about you. If they want to learn about you, cool. If you got peace, that's more important than seeing kids. Like,
Mhm.
I
One.
know it hurts because you that's something you want. That lets you know you want kids. Okay. And then that lets you know you're a nurturer. Okay. That lets you know that you are a person that God will bless you with the opportunity to be a mother to many. It's okay to love and to cherish those children. And guess what? Your love will never change for them. And it's okay. But at the same time, you still got your peace.
So I planned this thing for 4th of July, and it was my godson, my nephew, and my two cousins. And I moved out in my own apartment by this time, so I was an hour away from my family. And so I planned a time and everything to go see them, and they completely disregarded all my plans and everything to go hang out with a girl that we all fell out with. So I felt like you're not respecting me. I'm gonna put my boundaries up, and I'm gonna go back to my house, and I'm not gonna hang out with you guys. Like I'm not gonna plan anything else. If you guys want to come see me, you can see me. But we didn't even talk about that because they were so mad that I didn't fold in and say, okay, yeah, we could just all go to the beach. I was like, no, I'm not going. I'm going back home. Y'all could do whatever you want to do. They said, still ended up taking her to the plan that I made for my nephew. And I was like, oh, y'all got me all the way effed up. So I cut them all off. And the first thing one of them said to me is, oh, the baby wanted to see you so bad. And I was like, y'all should have thought about that when I planned it and when y'all decided to go against what my boundaries were. But I try not to because I don't want to ever feel like I'm better than anybody else. Like for me, if you're on my side, I'm rocking with you. It's us. And that's how I felt. I felt so betrayed. And once I feel that level of betrayal, you can't come back.
So you have a bowl of fruit and a bowl of shit. So when somebody come to you with their shit, analyze, is it really shit? Or is it adding value? Is it fruit? Can I ingest this? Is it going to impart nourishment? Is it going to help elevate my mind, my spirit, my community, my livelihood? Or are you bringing me your shit that got your drama, your trauma, your triggers, your ninjas, and your itches that you're trying to bring in my realm that you can't take control of, but you trying to hand me your shit. Then guess what you try to do too? Sprinkle some sugar on the shit. And then hand it to me. Say, look, it's sweet. It's
So
sweet
good.
shit. It's sweet shit. But I got a whole bowl of fruit over here that's sweet, nourishing, uncompromising from the most high.
Mhm.
When your shit come from you, your filth. The filth meaning your darkness, your lower vibration. So I have a choice. But when you're not here and you're not open and you're closed off mentally, when somebody presents you with them two bowls, most of the time you take the shit.
Mhm. Because you don't realize how good the fruit is. You're used to the shit. Um, I think it's so important in that time where I was getting my boundaries crossed with my cousins and everything. It's important. I learned that a lot of people try to provoke me into that lower vibration. So I went and stood my boundary. I went home and I didn't allow them to kind of paint that picture that I'm difficult. Y'all crossed my boundaries. Focus on that. Focus on that you didn't respect me and my time. And that's why
Right.
I got my respect. And my last question for you. We unpacked a lot today, and I loved it. Your insight is amazing, and I love how you're able to share knowledge and uplift others without just saying like, "Oh, I'm a know-it-all and I've been through it." And like what I experience a lot is older generations. They think because I'm younger or whatever, oh, you just have to listen to me because X, Y, and Z. But I've experienced a lot that other people have not, who are older than me. So I feel like we can all learn from each other.
Yes.
But my last question for you is, if your younger self was listening to this podcast, what would you say to her?
If I can go back to her, I would say to her, girl, you got this. You got everything you need. You was prepared to be on this stage. Don't let nobody refute you. Don't let nobody diminish who you are just because they are ignorant. And ignorance means to be in darkness. So because their mind is not enlightened and yours is, don't minuscule yourself or bring yourself lower so they can feel better. Bring them up to you. Don't go to them. And what else I was saying?
That was beautiful. That was powerful.
Because, huh, get that money.
Always.
Get that money. Get the money that God intended for you. And know that you are loved. And be a smooth operator with that thing. Because you got it. You got it. And remember to seize your day.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so
I'll
much,
say.
Sierra.
I'll say. And
Ashe.
blessings to y'all.
Thank you so much for sharing, Queen Musa. We love your story. Thank you for sharing with us. Um,
Thank you for having me. I know
it
I
was,
talked y'all head off. I'm
no,
sorry.
it was much needed. Everything I needed to hear. Your story is a reminder to always show up for yourself and that you have
Always.
everything that you need within you. God will always provide. To our listeners, we hope that today's conversation helps you unpack your why and motivates you to discover your inner diamond.